Hi, Abhishek. I think we should start the webinar.
Okay, I'll start with screen. Good afternoon all, and good morning to the people who have joined us from Middle East and Africa. I, on behalf of Alfa Laval and team, would like to welcome you all to this webinar, wherein we delve into the nitty-gritties of Alfa Laval flash pasteurizer module and technology, and understand how amalgamation of innovation and technology ascertains that every drop of your brew is preserved with precision. I would like to take a moment to introduce myself to you. My name is Abhishek Kumar. I am working as a sales engineer and is responsible for the business development of brewery systems in Alfa Laval, India. With me, I have my colleague joining from Alfa Laval, Denmark. And I would request Harim to please give a short introduction of himself to our guest for the webinar.
Yes, thanks, Abhishek. So my name is Harim Guajardo. I work in the brewery systems office in Denmark. I'm responsible globally for craft modules, and I've been working in the brewing industry for the past 13 years so far. So I'm happy to be here with you today, and hopefully this you can get something out of this webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Harim. So to best utilize your 45 minutes today, we have actually divided this particular webinar into two sections. For the first part, I will run you through the engagement that Alfa Laval India is having in the region and help you understand how Alfa Laval India is actually helping customers on a turnkey basis. So safety first. So with this particular slide, I would like to illustrate Alfa Laval's unwavering dedications towards safety. So if at all you are driving and listening, please don't, as we want you to return home safely every day. So Alfa Laval offers end-to-end solution. We cater to our customers for greenfield and brownfield projects, including expansions, modernization, revamping, and we also offer brewery modules, which are used for applications like wort aeration, yeast handling, high gravity blending, de-water generation, and many more. So today, we will be focusing on one such module, which is a flash pasteurizer, and it is famously known as FlexiTherm in the market. So
Abhishek,
when I say,
just to sorry to interrupt, but Abhishek, you are not visible.
okay, I just. Is it? Am I visible now?
Yes.
Yeah. So when we say end-to-end solution, we ensure that you get our support 24/7 via our digital solution center, which is located at our head office in Pune. So you can see at the bottom right corner of this particular slide, the infrastructure that we have developed to provide you the required service support remotely. Basically, with this particular remote troubleshooting center, we can proactively monitor the health of the equipment, which are supplied by Alfa Laval, and can inform you in advance of any problem that might arise. So basically, this particular service center can also be used for repair, maintenance, and software upgradation of the system remotely. And just to highlight, this is first of its kind center which is developed by Alfa Laval, and we have helped our customer with the remote commissioning and troubleshooting of the plant even during the COVID times. So this particular facility helped our customer to reduce the downtime of the equipment from about 4 days to 2 hours. Going forward, I would like to give a glimpse of the work that we are doing in the region. To start with, we are executing the first of its kind greenfield brewery project in Uttar Pradesh, which basically includes a hybrid steam and hot water system for brew house special heating. So this particular brewery will be the first brewery in India which will be having a Kisalgarh based membrane filtration or a Kisalgarh free membrane filtration. Also, for the first time in India, someone or a brewery will be using a wall cluster, which will help them achieve the exceptional beer quality and will provide savings or on waterfront as well. For this particular plant, we helped them and we collaborated them with our flash pasteurizer. And for this particular project, our flash pasteurizer will ensure superior efficiency that will surpass the traditional tunnel pasteurizer. And what I mean by that is that they will be using our flash pasteurizer in place of a tunnel pasteurizer for canning and bottling purposes, and and this particular thing will ensure that the entire scheme is running more efficiently, and this particular pasteurizer is way more efficient and less costly as compared to the traditional tunnel pasteurizer. Similarly, in West Bengal, we are setting up a brewery for the celebrity breweries next to their existing plant. The scope basically includes raw material handling section, brew house section, yeast section, fermentation section, and other areas. So just to highlight, Celebrity Breweries happens to be a co-packer for AB InBev in India. Alfa Laval has been a technology partner for CG Brewery since 1996. And recently, we have helped them with a 250 HL brew house. And we supported them with a complete turnkey solution for their plant. Yati is another project that we did in Nepal. So basically, we helped them with a 3-vessel brewhouse system for their commercial brewery applications. Moving on to the premiumization. So whenever it has come for the making of the premium quality beer, major global brewers like AB InBev have collaborated and partnered with Alfa Laval. To quote example, Hoegaarden is getting brewed and produced in a Alfa Laval plant in Karnataka. We have extensively worked with ABI for the Budweiser production. And to highlight, when it came to the production of Corona for the first time in India, it was Alfa Laval who catered with the required technology. Since we were already having references of original Corona plant in Mexico. We also partnered with Heineken or United Breweries for the production of their first wheat beer. Apart from this, we have supported various customers across the length and the breadth of the country for their production of the premium beers. To put it in words, we have collaborated with all five contract bottling unit of Bira and have supplied them with the requisite technologies. Considering the sustainability aspect, we have helped major brewers and breweries in India with projects like 100% heat recovery system, which ensures drastic reduction of steam consumption and help them achieve their sustainability goal. Our unique beer recovery system recovers beer from the surplus yeast and helps customer to recover anywhere between 20,000 cases to 30,000 cases a month, which was otherwise going to drains. Also, it is contributing to reach the sustainability goal by reducing the water consumption by about 3 million liters per annum. So these were some of the major projects that we did. And I would also like to highlight that Alfa Laval has been involved in more than 95 brownfield expansions, more than 25 brewhouse expansions, and more than 400 unit tank expansions and related projects. Apart from the various offering and the projects that we have, we can also help you produce non-alcoholic beer using our module called DALC. We can help you reduce your fermentation time with the fermentation time, be it the chill back time or the maturation time by our Isomix system. Our beer recovery system can help you recover beer from the surplus yeast. And last but not the least, our latest technology called Rewas. We can concentrate the beer 4 to 5 times its original gravity without any loss in the organoleptic profile. And you can redraft it at the user point. So, this was a macro outline of our end-to-end offerings in the brewery segment. Now, moving on to the technology for the day, I would request Harim to give us the insights for the flash pasteurizer that is there. So Harim, you can probably take it up from here.
Perfect. Yes, yeah. I have requested control first. Can you please allow me to?
Yeah, I'll just a second. I'll just give you the control. So have you requested a controller?
I have. I will do it again. No problem.
Yeah.
Here it is. Perfect. All right. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Abhishek, for the introduction. Now we will focus a little bit more in our solution for pasteurization. This module we is known as FlexiTerm. So yes, we will start by talking a little bit about the concept or the what does it mean to pasteurize. So to put it in simple terms, pasteurization is basically a heat treatment of a liquid, and the idea. I can see some comments that people is not hearing me. Is that the case?
Harim, at least
Well,
I can hear you.
I can hear. I can also hear.
Okay, okay. So it is
Is there
probably.
anyone facing the challenge? If yes,
I saw
if
a
you can
comment
write
about it.
in the chat.
Probably they need to check their setup. I'll continue. So I was explaining pasteurization is basically a heat treatment. What you do is you heat a liquid for a certain amount of time, and the main idea is to stop yeast activity.
भाई
We're
वीडियो
talking
बंद
about
कर दे
brewery.
तू वीडियो रख रहा है तू देख नहीं रहा है वीडियो बंद कर दे
I, you can usually mute. I'm not sure who was talking. Okay, so the idea is to treat a liquid for a certain amount of time, and then you will pasteurize it. Then what is flash pasteurization? It's the principle of taking an incoming liquid, heating it up to pasteurization temperature, and then holding it. In our case, we do it for about a minute or less than 1 minute, and then it's followed by a rapid cooling to reach the original temperature of the beer. So this is what we call flash pasteurization. All right. This is an example of our P&ID for the solution that we have as FlexiTerm Mini. The idea is to take beer from the source tank. Then we have a 3-section plate heat exchanger. I know it doesn't look maybe really well, but I will explain a little bit more about the plate heat exchanger in a moment. And the idea is that this plate heat exchanger it's very efficient, and it's split in 3 sections. All this to be able to recover energy. As I said, I will go a little bit more into detail after a moment. But then we have, I mentioned before, we hold the beer at a pasteurization temperature, and this is what we call a holding cell. It's an arrangement of pipes to make sure we have the beer at the right temperature to reach the pasteurization units we have as target. And then, of course, after the FlexiTerm, as we can see here, we have the line connected to a buffer tank. Usually you need to have a buffer tank after the pasteurization module before going to the fillers. We can either supply that, or it might be that you have your own buffer tank. But you always need to have a buffer tank because the fillers are starting and stopping very often, and you need to be sure that you have a steady flow, and that's why you have the buffer in the middle. I'm gonna switch slide. Great. This is a picture where I show the 3 sections that I was talking about, right? So we have the plate heat exchanger as it is will receive the beer directly in the section number 2. Let me see if I can have the pointer here, or if you can see my mouse. I guess you can see it. It's going into the section number 2. And then in this section number 2 is very interesting because at the same time it's exchanging energy with the beer that has been going out of the hot section, which is section number 3. And then this is where we start recovering energy. So we preheat the beer inside this section, and then we take heat out of the beer coming out of the pasteurization section, right? So this is where we have very efficient energy exchange. Then we can say that in the section number 3 is where we actually reach the pasteurization temperature that we are aiming for. This is, of course, something that we will, it's depending on the recipes you would like to have as brewers. And this is set up and it will work automatically, right? We reach the temperature for pasteurization. Then we will go through the holding cell that actually you can see there in red is this arrangement of pipes horizontally going back and forth. And this is where we keep the beer at the right temperature for the right amount of time. And then we say we have pasteurized our beer. As I explained before, we go then to the section 2 to take energy from there. And then we finally go to section 1. In this case, section 1, it's connected to a glycol line. And this is where we recover or we go back to the original temperature of beer. So if we go in the fermentation, the flexitherm at around 5 degrees, you will get it out at basically the same temperature, right? And then this is the first poll question that we will show. I guess you can see it in your screen. Please have a look and answer.
Yes, I hope my screen, the poll is visible on your screen. So there are 4 options. You can choose any of the option. This poll will remain on the screen for the next 30 seconds. We have around 42 peoples. So I will ask each one of you to please participate on a maximum number. I can see as of now only 2 response. I can see 10 response as of now. I will request remaining people to please participate. We will take a questions once the webinar ends. Once Harim done with his slides, we will take the question. I can see there are a number of hands. Mr. Dheeraj, Mr. Ashish, and Mr. Gangadhar, please wait till the end of the webinar.
Okay. Shall we move forward?
I think, yeah, we can move forward. And I am just closing poll from your screen, but you can answer in your chat box. So this poll will go under the chat tab. Thank you.
All right. So the right answer is 27.5. All right. And you might be thinking, sorry, let me see if I can go back. Yes. No, can you help me to go back a couple of slides, please, Abhishek? Perfect. Thank you. So, of course, this question was a bit tricky, especially if you have never seen this formula before or you have never worked with a pasteurizer. But it is just to show that the pasteurization units are, it's a formula. It's something that you can calculate. And it's a relationship between time and temperature, right? We in Alfa Laval, since we do the flash pasteurization very fast, we work actually in seconds. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, you can set up the temperature at the right level that you would like to do, right? This is also a preference that brewers will have. We normally say that you can work between a range of 10 to 100 pasteurization units, and that should be enough. But it's a little bit up to you as brewer to decide. So yeah, in this case, for instance, if we would have used 1 minute or 60 seconds as pasteurization time, and we will have selected 60 degrees Celsius as pasteurization temperature, then we will have one pasteurization unit, just to keep it very simple. Very well. It's important to know that I explained how the plate heat exchanger works, but a key part of this system is the holding cell, and that's calculated depending on the flow you would like to work with normally, and we need to make sure that the beer it's there at the right temperature, right? And this is where pasteurization takes place. We do it also on the high pressure, and this is to ensure that you don't have CO2 breakout. So this means that you can pasteurize beer after you have the right level of CO2. You can pasteurize beer that has 6 grams per liter of CO2, and we will keep the CO2 in the beer. This is really important to know and to consider. And of course, this is a calculation that the system will do automatically depending on the settings. So you don't have to do so much, right? The system works automatically. And then we've been talking about pasteurization for a while, but I mean, why do we do it? And the main reason is to increase shelf life of your product, right? When you have your product has been pasteurized, you just basically allow the product to be stable for more time. And we are not only talking about beers. I mentioned a couple of different type of beverage you can pasteurize here, right? Unfiltered beers, different types of beers, hazy beers, some blended products, cider, sodas, or yeah. So you can do a lot of stuff with the system, right? It's of course complying with all with food regulations. It's built in stainless steel, meeting the requirements for that it's sanitary, of course, and it's fully shippable. It's CIP online, and it is inline, I meant to say, and it is of course automatic. Just to give a number, we have around 500 plus flexi terms already in breweries around the world. So this is quite a proven solution and module we have here in Alfa Laval. For this one, we have flexi terms that can go from 5 hectoliters to around 550, I believe, as the maximum. We're showing here what we call the mini flexiter minis for craft brewers that are 2 different sizes, from 5 to 15 hectoliters and from 15 to 30 hectoliters an hour, right? And we have the possibility to include a couple of options, right? One of them being really important is the energy recovery, because as it is now, Flexiter Mini can recover or is efficient enough to recover 92% of the energy. But we can actually include a few more plates and design it in a way that you can go all the way to 94 to recover even more energy, right? We have the possibility to help with a pressure reducing station in case you have a really high pressure inlet. Also, we have cooling meter circulation. This is important when you really have very cold glycol. We need to make sure we're not gonna have our beer frozen inside the system. So we have a recirculation pump to avoid this, and of course the buffer tank and routing. And as I mentioned before, if you already have your own buffer tank or your preferred supplier over there, you're welcome to do that, and we will just help you with the routing and what you need to be able to control properly. Otherwise, we have the option of offering the whole package ourselves with the buffer tanks. So yeah, you can be sure that the system will control properly your the conditions. We say plus minus 10% PUs in the settings, and the flows are normally we say you can work at the half speed of the maximum flow available, right? That's why we for instance, we say that you can have the bigger Flexiter Mini to 30 hectoliters an hour, but you can also work at 15. Okay, and of course, as I said before, the treatment is short. I mean, it will only take seconds or maybe about a minute to go through the whole system, right? It's time for another poll question.
Yes, I am presenting a poll. It should be on your screen within a second. I hope you can see poll on your screen. And again, I will request each one of you to please participate on a maximum number. Thank you. So yeah, I can see we have already received 16 response. Okay. And we are, I think, 46 people. So 18 response we got so far. I think people are responding more compared to last question. So really appreciate all the participant. 25 response we have got till now. So around 96% of people are saying less than 1 minute, Harim, and 4% people are saying 10 minutes. I am closing poll from the screen, and you will find a poll under your chat tab. Thank you.
Very well. And it is correct. Most of the people got it correct, and it is less than 1 minute, as it was mentioned before. Let me see. Yes. This was important because then we can talk a little bit about another existing technology, which is the tunnel pasteurizer. And the idea is to have a look or compare how a tunnel pasteurizer works versus a flash pasteurizer, right? So if you guys have already experience with tunnel pasteurizers, will know that it takes quite a long time to go through it, right? I'll have a slide later to talk a little bit more about times and temperatures, right? But just to have a look as it is, a tunnel pasteurizer, it's really big, right? You have seen our module, it's very compact, and versus a tunnel pasteurizer that it takes a lot of space. So the footprint is really big of a tunnel pasteurizer. It takes a lot of your space in the brewery, right? So that's one of the not so great things about tunnel pasteurizer, and this is really great about our solution with the FlexiTherm. So we have some numbers there. This is a study that was made a few years ago, and the flows are a little bit higher. You can see here, this is the example was made for 187 hectoliters an hour FlexiTherm versus the tunnel pasteurizer, right? But you can immediately see that you will have reductions in steam consumption based on as we say there, for per line. This is a reduced steam requirement per line. And then, of course, the water usage. I mean, the tunnel pasteurizers use a lot of water to have this, to reach these temperatures. They basically just, it's a shower all the time on top of the beers, right? So we say that we can cut down from 60 hectoliters per hour in this example to 3 hectoliters an hour. This is just a huge savings in water, right? And this lower all savings as well. It's made based on these sizes of equipment, right? A little bit bigger. And as we say, for this study, we realized that you will use 0.42 hectoliters per hour of beer as a reduction if you change from a tunnel pasteurizer to a FlexiTherm pasteurizer, right? So this is what I was mentioning before. This is a couple of curves where you can see, or graphs, the difference between a FlexiTherm, in this case we're talking about mini, to a tunnel pasteurizer, right? And you can immediately see by looking at the in the x axis, we are talking about seconds in the FlexiTherm mini, and we're talking about minutes in the tunnel pasteurizer. Most tunnel pasteurizers have this profile of temperatures where they start preheating and then they keep moving and heating until they reach the pasteurization temperature, and then they start cooling down. But that can take up to 40 minutes. It's a lot of time versus the flexitherm fast pasteurization that we know we talk about it. It takes seconds to reach, right? So this is huge, something really important to consider in your production. Yeah, some quick comparison between both of them. In a tunnel, you need to heat up to 60. And the first stage, as I mentioned, it takes about 10 minutes to do that. And then you need to hold that temperature for 20 minutes to be able to reach the pasteurization units. Then you take another additional 10 minutes to cool down back to 20. And we already mentioned in our case, we only need, in this example, 72 degrees Celsius, hold for 30 seconds, and then you cool down rapidly. So this is much more thermally efficient. And yeah, some things that I already mentioned, of course, the footprint, it's much smaller area with the flexitherm, very easy and low maintenance. There's not so many moving parts in a flexitherm, where in the in the tunnel pasteurizer, there's a lot of motors and conveyors and things moving around, right? And of course, the capital investment, it's already bigger in a tunnel pasteurizer, right? This is then basically a small summary of what we have been discussing so far. Pasteurization, it's basically microbiological stability for your product. That's the idea or the reason you do that. And then we know that we will then take out these microorganisms or even yeast. I mentioned yeast as one of the main things that you want to stop, because you don't want to have spoil your product at the afterwards or have a second fermentation. So you do this with the flexitherm. Of course, you can work at different flows in real time. It will be controlling automatically. You don't have CO2 breakouts. We keep it even if during the high temperature stage, you will not lose CO2 the way it's designed. And of course, sanitary and compact, and it can work for different recipes, right? So you can store different recipes, and that's it. You do that during commissioning, and then you can forget about that. I believe this is it, Abhishek. Yes,
Thank
correct.
you, Harim and Abhishek. So
Thank
we
you.
have
Thank you.
some we have some questions under the chat tab, and if anyone is having a question, you can write it down in under a question and answer tab. Harim, we have a question: is any idea or feasibility to use electricity to pasteurize instead of steam? This question is from Rahul Saxena. Do you want me to repeat a question? You are on mute, Harim.
Sorry, I was muted.
We
Yeah.
have had this request
Yeah.
once or twice before,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
we will have a look on it. But so far we haven't. We
not
have
really.
only have
Yes,
steam as or hot water
as the main.
as the heating media.
Correct. It's my colleague Martin Eckeberg. He's also sitting with me. He's a specialist in thermal equipment, and I will repeat in case you didn't hear. We normally don't work with electrical as a heater, right? We normally have steam or hot water. We have received this question a couple of times before, and we're thinking that we should have a look, or we will look into it. But as it is now, I will say that normally we will have as heating media either steam or hot water.
We have one more question, Harim. This question is from Nikhil. What are the losses in the first run? And what is the smallest size brew house that you can use this system?
I guess about the losses in the first run, you mean when you, I'm going to assume that it's when we will start production, right? The way we do it is by first sending water, and then we will use water to actually find the balance in the system. As I mentioned in the 3 sections, we are continuously recirculating until we reach the balance, and we know that that we can get heat in the regenerating part of the system, which is section number 2. When we have reached this, and it takes about probably 15 minutes to reach at the beginning, then we push out with beer. And of course, the losses are also connected to how far is the buffer tank, right? Because then you need to start pushing all the way to the buffer tank. And that's, of course, should be calculated individually. And but the idea is to use water to prepare the system, to basically not use your product as such. When the system is ready, you push with beer, push the water out, and then yeah, you're ready to basically produce with beer. Um, about the brew house, I'm not sure actually what is the smallest brew house you can consider for that. Actually, you will have to maybe check that with your brew house supplier. But what I can say is that the lowest we can go is 5 hectoliters an hour, or basically 500 liters per hour in our flexitherm. All right. Is there any other questions?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, we have one more question from Mr. Dinakaran. What are the quality checks available in the system?
Sampling valve.
The
Quality check.
Of course, yeah. We have sample valves where you can just basically take your samples and then do whatever you need in the lab, right? In terms of what we do to be sure that we have the right conditions to start producing, is we have we will run a CIP through the system, right? The typical CIP that most of you know, with hot water, caustic, acid when needed, right? So you prepare the system like this, and then you're ready to produce, and then you take your own samples. Or this routine is more coming from you as brewer. You decide what to check and how often to do that, right? But you have the sampling points for that.
One before and one after.
One before and one after, to be more clear.
Harim, we have one more question. That is from Mr. Siddharth. Does pasteurization has any effect on alcohol in beer or mead?
Alcohol in beer? No, it's not doing anything to it. You will just as you get it, it will be out. It's not high temperatures, right? We normally work between 67 to 76 degrees. So there's no risk of doing. You don't have any evaporation or anything happening, right? And I also mentioned before, we keep high pressure, so we keep the high pressure and also help. But no, you shouldn't have any problem with alcohol. That's for sure.
Thank you, Harim. We have one more question from Mr. Dilip. Can we monitor online pasteurization unit, and how much it should be for beer?
Monitor online. I mean, the system will store what is happening through the process, right? So you can access that directly in the HMI, right? It's not really like we have an app so you can check at home, right? We don't do that yet. And for beer, we say 10 pasteurization units are enough. Some people will then maybe try a little bit less. I've heard requests about 5 pasteurization units, maybe that's probably on the lower side of it. So I would say minimum 10 pasteurization units.
Thanks, Harim. We have one more question. Is there any specific instrument to check PU like tunnel pasteurizer?
Okay, to check what, sorry?
PU like tunnel pasteurizer.
No, not an instrument as I guess the one you're talking about. I work in a brewery where you will then put a sample or you will put a metallic thing with a probe in a beer, and then you will follow how it's changing the temperatures, right? No, we do it in line. We have temperature transmitters, we have flow transmitters, and as I mentioned before, it's a relationship between temperature and flow, right? so we can measure flow, temperature and time. Sorry, and we vary the flow, and then we know the time, and then we know the temperature because we have the transmitters in line. So it will immediately adjust in case the filler is it's going faster, or it's slowing down, or it's stopping. The system will read this and communicate with the buffer tank, and then it will just immediately vary the flow to control and to be sure we have the right pasteurization units.
Thanks, Harim. We have a few more questions lined up. Okay, one of the question is utility in other beverage manufacturing like hard cider. Is it possible?
Yes.
To use a flexner for hard cider? Yes, it
Yeah,
is possible. Yes.
perfect.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have received requests like that
And
before.
cider as well.
Ciders, hazy beers, hard seltzers. Yes, yeah, you can work with that.
There is one more question. How do we pasteurize wheat beer in flash pasteurizer? I mean, is it suitable to pasteurize craft beer? What is its impact on taste of the beer?
Wheat beer is just a higher temperature,
Mhm.
and it's fine to go up in PU with much higher PU.
Yes. So as it is, the system can take it. The wheat beer as well shouldn't be a problem. The idea of pasteurizing beer or not, it's a discussion always amongst brewers. Some say that could change a little bit the flavor, some characteristics, but honestly, it's up to the brewer to decide if it's a reality that it will change your product so much, right? We know that pasteurization it's used in the business because it's really a lot of benefits you take from it, right? The stability and things like that. In many cases, even there's some importers if you're planning to export your beer. Some importers demand to have their product pasteurized, so they are sure they can have it in the transport and then in the warehouse, right? So it's a little bit a decision of the brewers if they decide that it will change or not the flavor profile.
Yeah. We have one more question. What are the energy consumption and operational cost for flash?
Uh,
Depends on the capacity.
yes, so that those maybe specific questions, maybe they should be able to reach Abhishek, because we know we have different. I showed two sizes for Flexiter Mini, and of course, if you have bigger, then it's even more, right? So if you need to know a little bit more, hopefully you are interested about it, please contact Abhishek and we will work together, and then you will receive from us a full it's a table where you will see cooling consumption, steam consumption, CO2, whatever you need, and it will be for your very specific case depending on your flow. And then you can read if you have what you need in terms of utility or if you need a bit more, and we will help you to do that. So I
Yeah.
would say that we should take these questions with more specifically with Abhishek.
Thanks, Harib. Karthik Singh, we have got your question. Our team will get back to you because it is about landing cost of 15 to 30 HL Terma mini system. So these are very specific question. Abhishek and team will get back to you. Harib, we have one more question. How much water per liter of beer is required, and what capacity of boiler is required?
Water per the capacity
How
of the
Yeah, how much water per liter of beer is required? And the second subsequent question is what capacity of boiler is required?
yes, sure. So the these numbers about water per liter of beer are very specific or of your installation. It depends, of course. As I mentioned before, we have a bit of different processes where we will push with water. And if you have your buffer tank that is 20 meters from the flexiter, or if it's just right next to it, depending on the size of your line. So all those things will vary depending on the current installation.
During production, there's 0 liters.
So
During production.
yeah. Once, and this is only to start production. Of course, when you're producing, you're just working with the beer, right? But I understand the question of if there's a study about water consumption per liter of beer as it's done in other cases in the brewery. These studies are normally made for the whole brewery, right? We can help you for your specific installation, depending, as I said, how is your installation. And the size of the boiler is also connected to the size of the system, because the boiler is not the same for the 5 hectoliters mini, or if you want 50 hectoliters flexitherm, then the boiler size is also changing a little bit. But what I can tell you, and this is important to know, is that the boiler that is heating water, it doesn't require to heat a lot of in terms of temperature. We normally have it as a set point that it's 4 degrees Celsius more than 2 degrees Celsius more. Sorry, 2 degrees Celsius more that what you get from the energy recovery in the second section, right? So if you're pasteurizing beer at 72 and in the energy recovery you have 70, the boiler will heat up this extra 2 Celsius. 74, sorry. So in this example, it will be 74. So you can get the right temperature, right? So you don't have to consume a lot of utilities to heat this product.
Perfect. Thanks, Harim. We have a few more questions. I think we will take five minutes more to close all the question. The question is, does the haze and flavor profile get affected drastically for wheat beers and IPAs?
It's very similar to a question we answered a bit before. No, we say it's not affected in terms of I mean, wheat beers can go through it, IPAs can go through it. It can even take a little bit of solids, the flexitherm, right? We have a limitation about solids. It's not that you can go with very big stuff. We say actually 0.5 millimeters particle size. And then we say if it's pulp, around 3%. And then we have fibers in 1 millimeter long, or the length. So you can even go with a little bit of solids. So that will be okay.
There is one more question. Any interlock is available to eliminate unpasteurized beer?
Interlock to eliminate unpasteurized beer. Okay, we have a recirculation line, and we will never start producing until we have the system balanced. So it's always the case. So we will have the system at the right conditions before we start production. We do this with water, then we switch to beer. Then when we have actually a problem in the filler and the buffer tank is filling, then we will, if there's no more room for beer anymore, then we will use water again to push out, to drain this what you have there, and keep the system running to keep the balance. When we're ready to produce again, we switch again to beer. And we always make sure to have the right temperature and the right system balance with all the instruments that I mentioned before, and this happens automatically. So this is the way we control, and we're sure we don't have unpasteurized beer, and we don't have over pasteurized beer as well.
Okay, one more question. Does pasteurization has any effect on carbonation?
No, we can keep. As I mentioned before, we will have the CO2. We can keep up to around 6 grams per liter of CO2 concentration in the beer. We have we do this on with high pressure in the system as well. We have a regulating valve that it's making sure we have the right pressure in the system, and we don't have CO2 breakout. This is very important for us and for everybody, right? If you already have the CO2 in your beer, you don't want to waste it, right? Because it costs money. So no, for sure, the flexitherm can work, as I said, up to around 6 grams per liter with concentration, even in the high temperature of pasteurization.
Okay, there is one more question. Flash pasteurization is more effective with still or carbonated meats?
With steam or what, sorry?
Still or carbonated meats.
You're talking about the material of the plate heat exchange, the system?
Siddharth, if you can repeat your question, or if you can write your question under a question answer tab, it would be great. We'll wait. We'll move to next question, which is Aditya. What is the cost of the machine? Aditya, please, our team will reach out to you. We have noted your email ID. We have noted your name. So Abhishek and team will get back to you. Harim, I think this is the last question. Can timing and temperature be changed post commissioning? For example, if at a time of installation it is set to 70 degree for 30 seconds, and change it if we can change it to 60 degree for 60 seconds, is it possible or not?
60 degrees for 50 seconds.
But
no.
you have different recipes.
Yeah, so you can play a little bit around with the system and the recipes, but we usually like to work with a holding cell of that it takes beer for 30 seconds, right? And then you can, of course, move a little bit the flow up and down, but we will usually like to keep this 30 seconds, right? You can make adjustments in temperature afterwards, after commissioning, because you have access to your system. At the end, it's your module, right? And our system includes this remote access point. It's an instrument. It's called E1 Cozy, and this one allows for us to help you remotely in case there's a little bit of problems, to do a little bit of troubleshooting, or if you need to, or you have an issue afterwards that you would like to discuss with us. Somebody is able to log in remotely from wherever. In this case, it can be also from India or from Denmark or wherever in the world, and should be able to help you to modify specific things in the system. But normally, you can also add your own recipes for sure to the module.
There's one more question. Is this pasteurizer is suitable for rice wine having 12% alcohol? And for how many months the wine will be safe for the consumer?
No idea.
Oh, okay. No, we don't have actually that answer. We don't have a lot of experience with wine, specifically in this case, rice wine and the high alcohol content. I cannot answer at this point. Maybe that question we can take afterwards and figure out if somebody here in Alfa Laval has worked with this very specific application. But at this point, I don't have something for you.
So I will request Mr. Rajiv Yadav to reach out to Abhishek, or Abhishek and team will reach out to you, and then we can take this conversation ahead. The last question of the session is, how can we prevent changes in CO2 levels during and after flash pasteurization in beer production?
Prevent changes. So when you get before the flexitherm, you have a certain concentration of beer. Sorry, CO2. Let's say 5. All the way to the flexitherm and to the buffer tank. Even if the buffer tank is your own, as I mentioned, you will have to follow our recommendations of what instrumentation you need to have the right control. So what I'm trying to say is, from you get to the flexitherm till you're out of the flexitherm, you'll keep the same concentration of CO2. You will not lose it. In the buffer tank, you have also a line, should have a line connected with CO2, and you should have CO2 as well in the buffer tank as a precaution, right? To keep the liquid under pressure, right? This is what we do to be sure that we have the CO2, the right CO2 that you need, right? And then from there, you go basically to the filler. And then, yeah, what happens in the filler, then it's a little bit different, right? But we can make sure that everything happening in the system, including the buffer tank, will keep the right amount of CO2.
Thank you, Harim. And I am launching a last poll.
There's one. Yeah, so there's one last question. From Rahul Saxena from Carlsberg. So there's one question. Probably you can help him with that. So he's asking that, can we put any inline PU monitor in mini outlet for product safety, as it is a critical control point?
What kind of monitor? Sorry, say it again.
PU monitor in the mini outlet.
If there's a specific instrument to do that,
Yeah.
of course we can have a look at it. If they in Carlsberg use a specific instrument from a supplier, they can just
Mhm.
say, this is what we want to have,
Yeah.
and we will include it in the system for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and this is our last poll. Okay, if you would like to, if you would like us to connect with you for further discussion, you can submit your answer so that we can connect with you for further discussion. I hope my poll is visible on your screen.
Yeah, we can
And
see it.
if you want Alpha Laval team to connect with you for any kind of query regarding what we discuss, please feel free to opt for yes, and according to same. Harim, there is one more question from Mr. Gangadhar. Sorry, Mr. Gangadhar, I have missed your question. Uh, when to opt tunnel and when to opt flash? I think the last question, Harim, you can consider.
Can you repeat it, please?
The question is when to opt tunnel and when to opt flash.
Okay. When to choose either tunnel or flash? It's a little bit. I mean, we've been talking about the differences between one and the other one, right? If you have the conditions, the right conditions and you know you're doing your CIP and everything is in order, flash pasteurizer as I said, it's just the best solution because it's more efficient. You will save energy, less space. It will go fast, less moving parts, less maintenance costs. It's a lot of stuff, right, going on. So yeah, to be honest, it's just a better solution than the tunnel pasteurizer, right? But of course, then it's a preference. If you still want to, for some reason, you prefer to do tunnel pasteurizer, yeah, I guess it's a little bit up to you. But there's so many things in favor of a pasteurization unit that works like this, inline and flash, that I will say that it's a superior solution, let's say.
And Harim, this is the last question. Shelf life of flash pasteurizer beer.
Can you repeat it again, please? The first part.
Shelf life.
Yeah, shelf life of
Shelf life.
flash.
Okay, see.
Yeah, shelf life of
Yeah.
flash.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, I understand. What I know is that most breweries will use 1 year as a limit. In this is also in regulations. Normally worldwide, they would like to say 1 year. In reality, probably it can take more time than that. But they need to be able to present a date. So the most common date is once you pasteurize your beer and you put it in your can or your bottle, and then in the label you will say that it's 1 year from that day. That's the most common.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining our webinar. And we have noted down your questions, and we have also got 13 people's response where our team will connect with you. If you still want us to connect with you, we have a poll under chat section, and you can select yes option. So we will come to know that we should connect with you. And thank you very much, Harim and Abhishek, for this webinar, and appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank
Very
you.
well.
Thank you, Brewer, and thank you
Have a good
everyone
day.
for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.